Hello, right, welcome back to another episode of the Final Flight podcast, and we're here for our Cheltenham Anti-Post Countdown show and another Week 5 show today, and we've got a very, very special guest with us tonight, the very famous, very well-known, and we're massive fans of him, Daryl Jacob, Grade 1 winning jockey. Good evening, Daryl. How are you feeling tonight, mate? Thank you for giving up your time.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, looking forward to be done. Hopefully, we can have a bit of banter there between the lot of us. So it should be a bit of fun, a bit of entertainment. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
It certainly is, mate. Yeah, that's what we're all about. We like to get stuck in some good banter, and thank you for giving up your time. So, obviously, I'll just quickly run through the way the show goes. We have a little bit of chat, some of the news from the week that's just gone, and then we'll come to you, Dal. We'll talk about a few of your rides that you've had and a few good days, and then a couple of horses you may be looking forward to. And then we'll put up an anti-post pick each towards the end, and we'll crack on straight away, and that's it. So, the first bit of news we're obviously going to talk about is a pretty big bit of news. A little bit of, well, I'll say sad news, but obviously we heard today that Irocco is going to be out for the season, unfortunately. I mean, we did a stable visit. I don't know if you know, Dal, but we had a stable visit to the Greenhill and Guerrero yard, and they were all fantastic. And we just turned into massive fans of Irocco overnight, and we all put him in our teams over the first 3 weeks. And to hear him out for the season because some sort of foot injury is pretty gutting. But I'll just come to the guys, Joe, Rich. I mean, how do you feel after seeing that news?
Yeah, it's gutting, really. I mean, last season he sort of flew the flag for the yard, didn't he, really? A Cheltenham winner. I think it was their first at the actual Cheltenham Festival. We obviously know they love him. As you walk into the yard, he's straight there on the left, cool as you like. They all love him. It's very sad, really, because I know they are a big yard, and, they've got great talents coming through, but he was the one real star there, and you could sort of sense that. So, but I'm sure they've got a lot more coming this season. They're fantastic people, and we are grateful for what they've done.
Yeah, they're definitely on the right track. I mean, Rich, you put him in second week. He gutted.
Yeah, I mean, not more gutted for the team rather than myself. We saw him out. Was it Warwick? And he looked very impressive. He looked to have a bright future this season, and hopefully he can come back. I mean, he's still young enough, isn't he? I think he's 6 or will be going on to 6 when March comes around. So hopefully he's still got plenty of time on his hands, and we see him back.
Yeah, he's got a long career ahead of him. I mean, he hopefully comes back stronger. But like I said, I just thought I'd give him a quick mention before we move on to the other stuff. But hopefully he comes back strong in the yard, get him back. So the next part of news, and I'll come to you first, Daryl. I mean, we were going to talk. We're obviously big fans of Facile Vega, and obviously Joe loves Marine Nationale. He had his chasing debut over at Nav, and I mean, you can give us a little bit of jockey insight to sort of how horses should be jumping on in beginner chases. I mean, what did you think of his jumping debut?
I was really impressed with him, actually. And speaking to Paul afterwards, he was delighted with the way he went through his race, and he got better as the race went along. He went down, he rubbed the first couple of fences, but that wasn't a bad thing, because that sort of backed him off the fences a little bit, and he realised then he had to pick up his legs and respect him a little bit more. Um, I love what he done going down the back straight. I thought he found a really nice rhythm with Paul the whole way down the back straight. He wasn't fresh, or he wasn't real gassy when the other horse went to the front and made the run, and he relaxed right into it. After the second fence. And what really stood out to me was the way he went down to the second last. I think it was when they were really racing down to the second last, and he pricked his ears. He looked at the fence, and he took the fence on. So he's obviously got, as the race went along, I thought it was a beautiful ride by Paul, as in he got the horse to relax early doors. He got him jumping. He got him into a fantastic rhythm the whole way. And looking at it, you can just see the horse the whole way through the race. He just grew and grew with confidence. And, a confident horse went down and took on the second last and went down to the last. And he was very neat and nimble to get away from it. And look, it was a very, very good performance.
Fantastic. And I mean, in sort of your opinion, I mean, we've obviously talked about him for the Arkle with Marine Nationale. I mean, would you think the Arkle would be the right place to go? I mean, a few people are saying he should go up in trip.
I think all options are open at this stage, and like he likes to keep his cards very close to his chest, won't he? I mean, I'm not sure. I'd say he'll obviously be entered in in both races. But with knowing Willie like I do, I think a final decision will be probably made at 5 to 10 to 48 hours before whatever race he decides to go in. But look, if there's a lot of water to go under the bridge between now, there's a lot of big targets. He'll obviously end up at Leopardstown at some point this year, and there's bigger targets ahead for him. But for a starting point, I thought it was a very, very impressive starting point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll come to you, Joe. I mean, surely you're quaking in your boots now on Marine National. I mean, we obviously haven't seen him in yet, and Fasal's look quite good. I mean, are you worried about your anti-post selection on Marine?
No, not really. I mean, obviously, I keep saying it. He didn't have the best of preps last year. Bit interrupted. Barry said he didn't really have the summer off, so they gave him the winter off after his Royal Bond win. But yeah, Fasil was impressive. It seemed a bit messy at the start. I think Paul said that in his interview after. He got high in a few and he twisted, but then as he went through the race, he just seemed to get better. And I know he did say he really liked what he felt. Going to the second last, that's where he put the race to bed. Coming on the turn, he didn't look around or anything, straight over the fence. I think in the pocket's got to go up in trip. I think that was a pretty good run from him. I think he got taken left as well. But yeah, good start for Fasil Vega. I'd potentially look at upping him in trip personally. Obviously, like Daryl said, there's a lot of water to go under the bridge. But you started off at 2 mile 1. I just think, I know it's a massive thing to say if Marine National does take to the jumps, because it is a huge if. But if he does, I feel like Marine has that bit of speed. I know it was soft to heavy in Navan, and I felt like he was just getting motor in. I do feel like he is, he's got the breeding for a bit further up in trip. I know Willie keeps mentioning the 2 mile, and he does say he will go up in trip further in time. But for me, I just think there is a few horses. Don't get me wrong, he's a classy individual, and I think he would go and win the Turners. But I just think over 2 mile on, if it's got good in the description, I think Marine National has a better turner foot.
Well, we'll soon find out. I mean, I'll let you finish us off there, Rich. I mean, you've obviously backed Fasal in your team for the anti-post. I mean, I was impressed. Like Daryl said there, I think he got better as the race went on, and I think he's going to be a real good goer for it. Me, I'm confident on him.
Sorry, I'm just looking for Marine. I don't know where he is. Has anybody seen him?
The thing about Cheltenham, people get logged in now, or they get up with Cheltenham, but you got to remember at Cheltenham, you need an awful lot of stamina as well. Cheltenham's a very, very undulating track, and you need a lot of, you need speed, but you also need a lot of stamina. When they go hard from early doors around Cheltenham, you run down into 3 out. After you run down into 3 out, and then you come around the bend, and you still need a lot of stamina, and that's what this horse has got. He's, I think there's a lot of bridges that this or gates that this lad can open up, and he was very, very impressive. I thought like the way he travelled down to 2 out, and he pricked his ears for 2 out, and the speed that he got over 2 out, it was very, very impressive. And I know Marine National is a very, very good horse, but this horse is a big, strong, chasing type, and I think he's a very, very big, imposing horse, and I think he's going to be very, very difficult to beat in whatever division he goes in.
I was quite impressed. I wasn't quite impressed at the end. I thought he kind of injected a bit of pace at the end and pulled away quite nicely. So I don't think he's short of pace, Joe. I think, like Dal said, I think the stamina and speed combination that he's got, I just think it'll suit him over that.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think he's short of speed. I just think Marine National is like your champion hurdle type in terms of speed. Obviously, he's got the stamina. He went up the hill perfect last time. He had a 5-pound claim on his back, and I don't think he gave him that. He gave him a few taps, but I think he was pretty confident that he was going to swallow Fasil up. It's all about the jumping for me, though. Like Daryl said, Fasil Vega's a chasing type. Marine National doesn't really have much of that in his breeding at all. So if he takes to that, that's the big question, isn't it?
Can we settle it once and for all? Daryl, if you had the choice of 2, which one would you pick to ride in the Arkle?
I suppose I ride a lot for Willie of Simon's horses, so I think I'd get shot if I said Marine National, so I got to say Fasal Vega.
We've finally got a guest on that's on our Fasal Vega team, so I'll take that. So we'll finish that there. You're on our
I
team.
love him. I seen him a lot last year, and even when he got beaten at Leopardstown, was at the Dublin Racing Festival when
Yeah.
he was very keen with that day with Paul and stuff like that. And I went out and I've seen him obviously in Willys, and honestly, he's a big monster. He's a brute of a horse, and this horse is whatever ground, whether it's soft, heavy, good, quick. This horse is very, very adaptable. He could be the real package.
Fantastic. No, that's fantastic. That's what I want to hear. Certainly be a good clash if they do come against each other. So we'll leave that at that. So I'm going to let Joe have a little word on Stage Star. Obviously, your Ryanair pick at this moment in time. He went and won the Paddy Power. I'll let you have a quick word on it, mate. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I got him at 16-1. I was impressed, to be honest. I didn't hear his name mentioned at all. He had the real whacker and Not Long Till May in there. Stage Star give them weight, and I thought he was very impressive. I know Paul said afterwards that he seems to have matured a lot. And I think, we had Solon and George who said horses that mature, it makes them a better horse. He used to get hot, very, very hot before his races. He seemed to be very relaxed. I was impressed with his jumping, apart from the last where he gave me a scare. But that's where I was really impressed. It was soft ground there, very soft. And to sort of land on all fours and nod on landing and then go again, I was really impressed, to be honest. First out this season as well. I couldn't be more happy. I know he was cut from 16s into 4s. So I've got the price there anyway. But yeah, I mean, it was the 1-2 from the Turners the year before that finished the 1-2 this year. Similar lengths. I'd probably give Stage Star a couple more lengths because of his mishap at the last. But I think all the team were happy. And Paul Nicholls even said he might go straight at Cheltenham, which I'm not sure about that. Daryl, what do you think about that? Such a long way out, saying he could maybe just go straight there.
I never doubt whatever Paul Nicholls does. He's an absolute genius, and if he thinks he can go straight there, I can guarantee you he'll go there, and he'll be 100% primed. He's an absolute master at priming horses for the big occasion, and whenever they've got a Gold Cup on their back, and he targets these races, very, very seldom did he not come off. He's a wonderful trainer, and he's a genius. So it wouldn't bother me one bit if he never turned up between now and Cheltenham. But he's a huge player whenever he turns up in the Ryanair. He's definitely improved a lot since last year. Admittedly, probably the race slightly fell apart a little bit, and I'm only saying that is because the real whacker obviously didn't really turn up. He didn't produce the form when he beat Jerry Colomb and my horse Brun last year. He obviously didn't turn up, but obviously the yard has been under a little bit of a cloud. So that was disappointing not to see him turn up, because he could have made a race of it. But the fact that he faded quite easily from the top of the hill down. It meant that Harry could fill up his horse the whole way down the hill, and the rest of them had to come to Harry, where Harry was sitting, saving and conserving the energy. And you see the kick that he had even on that ground. It was I was there Sunday with very tacky, horrible ground, and for him to pick up the way he did, wing 2 out and over jumped the last really. And knuckle and landing and slide away there. I thought Harry was very, very good on him. Harry just threw him the reins, and he kind of said to him, this is up to you now. You've got to find the leg. You've got to look after yourself. He kept his balance very, very, very neat, very tidy on top of the horse, and he gave the horse every opportunity to find the leg. A tired horse wouldn't have found the leg, and it just goes to show he's got a little bit more. So he's definitely improved from last year to this year. I'd say he's easily improved 10 pounds, if not a little bit more. So, you're better with the Ryanair, and I think you'd be better on better ground as well. I think you got him at 16-1. I think it's a good shout.
I like that.
I mean, I'll agree with you. I mean, I was impressed. I mean, that me and Rich are on the older heads in the Ryanair on MVLN, and he's gone for Allaho. So I think Stage Star, that performance of the Power were pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie, Rich. I'm a little bit worried. I'll let you finish us off. Are you worried?
I am more now after watching that Paddy Power. I mean, I was there, and after he nearly fell last, the crowd was gasped, and I can't believe how he stayed on him, to be honest with you, somehow, and then managed to get him going was just unbelievable. He's definitely a player, yeah. Like you say, he's improved, and yeah, I am slightly worried.
Yeah, fair play, Joe. We'll give you that one, mate. It was a very impressive performance.
Cheers, mate.
Right, so the last bit of
won't be any good though.
yeah, right, yeah, true. Right, so the last bit of news then we'll speak about is obviously the Schlur Chase on the Sunday. John Bon made a very impressive return to the Sphere. I'll come to you, Dal, if that's okay with you. I mean, what did you think of John Bon? I mean, he jumped fantastically, didn't he? Is he going to put it up to El Fabiolo this time round?
I think he's got to improve. I've no doubt about it. El Fabiolo's improved quite a lot. I've sat on El Fabiolo in the not so long ago, so I know El Fabiolo's he's definitely improved since last year. I think John Bon's got to improve. Look at John Bon. He did what he had to do on Sunday. I thought it was a nice performance. I didn't get the wow factor out of it. But I thought it was a nice, neat, steady reappearance. I know Nicky, and I know him quite well. He's going to obviously leave a lot more to work on him. You know, that wasn't his Gold Cup on Sunday. His Gold Cup is going to be in March. And, you know, he'll gradually, again, he's another master at priming horses for the big day. You know, he'll be there on the big day, and, you know, he'll probably improve 20 pounds from what you seen the other day. But you know, going back to the race, they went a good even gallop. And what I liked about John Bon, he was out in front. Nick was very aggressive on him, and he was pricking his ears. He was attacking his fences, which was it was good to see him attacking his fences, even in that sort of dead, sort of gluey ground. You know, that for me that was a good box ticker. You know, Edward Stone came down the hill and he was, you know, Edward Stone has been well documented. He doesn't like that ground. He finds it very, very difficult to gallop and to jump out of that ground. And he was still traveling very, very well down to the bottom of the hill and into the dip. And unfortunately, the ground gave way for him. It was just too hard to work for him. So he kind of fell away very, very tamely. You know, so he didn't really, someone didn't really have anything to race against, really, if you know, if you go by the fractions and the race the way it presented itself. But like you say, you know, he's been out, he's had a run, he's done exactly what he was, I suppose everyone was hoping he was going to do, and everything he's done. But I still think I still think there's bigger targets awaiting further down the line. And I also know he's definitely going to have to improve last year on what he's done last year to beat El Fabiolo this year.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, it was, like you say, it was a good performance for the first time out. But like people are thinking, he's going to get closer to El Fabiolo. But like you say, El Fabiolo will have progressed as well, and it's going to take some getting up to that level. And he may well, have a good go, but whether he'd be able to beat El Fabiolo, I'm not too sure. I mean, Joe, you put El Fabiolo up as your team captain last week. I mean, what did you make of John Bon's performance? Do you think he could get to El Fabiolo after listening to sort of that?
I agree with Daryl. I mean, a lot. I think it's pretty obvious this time of year. You see all these horses coming out, and I think Twitter sort of blows it up a bit. I agree with Daryl. He was good, but I didn't get the wow factor. Edward Stone's 9-year-old. Alan King said before the race, look, this will probably be the race where we find out if we're going to step him up in trip. And I think they probably will after that. But for me, John Bon won the race at the top of the hill. I think he's got a lot of tactical speed, and Daryl said it there. He was very aggressive at the top of the hill, making the turn, and that's where he sort of gained his lengths. He didn't have much of a race going up the hill, but straight after that race, I watched El Fabiolo last year, and the way El Fabiolo goes up that hill is just unbelievable. I don't think I think John Bon has improved, definitely. I don't think he jumped very well at Cheltenham at all last year. I don't think Nico was as aggressive. I know I had a decent bet on him at 14-1, and I was a bit gutted on the day, to be honest. But yeah, I just think El Fabiolo's I think he's got a bit better turn of foot. I think he's a bit better galloper at the end of the race. Don't get me wrong, John Bon's a classy individual. But when you go, I know, did Harry Skelton say at the end of the race it was probably one of the fastest he's ever been on Nube Negra, and it was impressive to see him
He won quick round Nube Negra. I mean, he was always going to find that, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And you look, Editor de G didn't really perform first time out. Nube Negra was pulled up before at Cheltenham. Edward Stone, didn't figure it all against Energamine. So, I mean, I'm going to say it all the time until probably just after the Irish Race Dublin Festival that there's a lot of water to go under the bridge yet. John Bond's going to improve. El Fabiolo's going to come out and improve on that. We'll all roads will meet at Cheltenham, but I'm still pretty confident on El Fabiolo, especially after Daryl saying he's improved.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you finish us off, Rich. I mean, what were your thoughts on it? I think he's not going to. I don't think he'll beat El Fabiolo, but I think he'll make it a race.
Yeah, I don't think he'll beat him, but like you say, I hope he goes there so we get to see the battle. I think if he doesn't run them, I know people say, he should go to the Ryanair, but I think if he does that, I think it kind of takes away from what people want to see. People want to see these clashes, and I thought it was quite impressive. I think
if you were an owner, I'll ask you this: if you were an owner and you had a chance in being placed in one race or winning another race, a stronger chance in winning another race, what would you do as an owner yourself? Would you go for the public? Oh, they want to see that. Or were you thinking, I want the money in my pocket and I want a Cheltenham Festival winner?
I think I'd be on the second one.
I'd be off to the Ryanair to win that, I think.
And that's the difference. Owners, they want winners at Cheltenham. They're not really, yes, great. Everyone would love to see, the clashes and stuff like that. But like I say, when there's a better opportunity for you to be in the winners' enclosures, not too many people shrink away from it, do they?
No, I'm certain I heard a trainer go on about that this weekend. I always watch racing TV on the night where they show the replays and then the trainers after. And one of the trainers actually said when they were deciding about the route through this season, there was 2 races. One was incredibly strong and the other one was incredibly weak. And they were exactly the same prize money. And everyone was thinking, that horse has gone for that. He's not as good this year. And the trainer basically said, no, it's an equal race. And the owners basically said, we want to go there because we know we're going to win.
Like you say, the owners and trainers have to... Go on, sorry.
That's what I do. I'd always, as a jockey, pick the race and likely to win.
Yeah.
Well, I say it's like when we all had the conversation last year with Honeysuckle and going up against Constitution Hill, and she went for the mares instead. It's like they went for the race. They knew the horse was the best chance of winning, and that's what they've got to do, and that's what we should always expect them to do. We can all dream about clashes and things, but that's what they should do at the end of the day. Fantastic, right, guys? That'll do us for the news. So what I was then going to do is, if that's all right with you, Dan, I'll just come to you and have a little chat about a couple of horses that you've maybe rode lately, and then maybe a 2 or 3 that you may be looking forward to riding this coming season, and then we'll get on to the at the end of the piece. So obviously there's only one place to start, and it's the old Rhone that you managed to win on Jetoile. I mean, do you want to talk us a little bit through that? How was that for an experience?
Yeah, look, at obviously, first of all, it was a shame that all the fences were taken out because of the low sun. I've got my views on that, but I won't go into it now because it'll go on for hours. But look, it's disappointing for everyone. Us jockeys, we want to jump as many obstacles as we can. For the public and for everyone, it's disappointing when all the fences or hurdles are taken out like that. It's this time of the year. It's only literally for 2 weeks. I can't understand why, for love of God, they can't change the situation around. The times of the racing around, so we can avoid all of this. But like you said, that's another matter of story. But look at Jetoile, I won on him at Chepstow at his last run last year, and I knew he was going to probably get an £8 or £9. And I said to Ryan Potter the minute I came back in the weighing room, into the parade ring, I said to him, there's one race that we're going to target next year. His Gold Cup next year is the Old Rhone. We need to have him absolutely 100% spot on for that day. And fair play to Ryan. He's a very, very good young trainer, up and coming. He knows the time of day. He knows his horses look fantastic. And his record speaks for itself. And he produced a horse to the absolute maximum that day. And it was a good performance. He had to step up from what he'd done the previous year, especially in handicaps. It was a big step up, and the lineup of the field as well was a very, very good quality race. And fair play to the horse. He took it in his stride, and it was a nice pot for him to win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good race to watch, and like I say, just to have that little bit of insight of how you targeted the race from so far out, it's great. We don't really get that sort of side of it, so to hear that is fantastic. And obviously it was a great winner, so congratulations on that, and well done to Connections. They did really well. The other 2 horses I'm going to mention is there's a horse called Matata that I think you won on her chasing debut, and I think she's due to run on Wednesday actually. I just thought I'd see if you get in the line. Are you expecting her to go? Are you looking forward to getting back on her? She won really
Yeah,
well.
no, Matata's he's a weirdo, if I can say that. Very, he's unbelievable, difficult ride. He came over and he was free to win. He ran a few points, and we bought him, and I couldn't hold one side, and he basically ran away with me to start of last year, won a few races, and then we went to Wincanton, went right-handed, and he hung off the track with me, ran off the track, so he can't go right-handed. And he finished off the season actually running a real credible race in the Grade One at Aintree. Probably he's just so hard on himself. He was probably burnt out by that time, but he still ran a hell of a race. And going down to Foss last there a month ago or so, it was one of those things he was going to, even though he'd ran point to points, he was going to be very good or very, very bad. And luckily for me, he was very, very good. He looked at the fence, he respected him, he got over him. And, from that performance, it was a very, very dominant performance. And he got put up, I think it was £9 for the win, which was about right. And he's got another step and up the ladder on Wednesday. I know it's only a two-horse race, but his opposition is a very, very good horse in his own right. So he's going to have to improve from Fosslas, but we think he can. But like you say, it's it's all about trying to contain this horse's energy and contain it in his mind. He's a very, very strong-minded horse, and like I say, he's not the easiest. But if we ever get to the bottom of him and he ever settles into a nice rhythm and a way of going about himself, hopefully he'll be very, very good for us, and he can be a horse that they can have plenty of fun with, or we can have plenty of fun with for many more years to come.
Daryl, just a quick insight. Sorry to interrupt there, James. So you're on Matata, and he's pretty headstrong. I watched the race last time. He looked, a pretty difficult ride. You're going into a two-horse race. What's you thinking? Do you just let him settle and see what he wants to do, or will you make sure you follow a horse, or is it up to the trainer? Or
No, I go out, and whenever I go out to ride every horse, I've got a very, very open mind in what I'd like to do. Obviously, the trainers and stuff like that, they would, if it's a horse that I've never ridden before, a trainer would, give you a little bit of a debrief about the horse. You obviously do your homework. You look at some of his videos, and stuff like that. But look at with Matata, obviously he's Simon and Isaacs. I've ridden him an awful lot. I've ridden him all of his career. I know the horse. I know what he likes and he doesn't like, and to be honest with you, there's not really much stopping him at the moment. So, tactics are fairly simple. You just, you buck him out and you try to get him to relax as much as you can from the front end without trying to let him get too carried away and get too excited and try and run off with you. But like I said to you, he's a very, very, very difficult ride. He's not easy at all. And this I'm hoping on Wednesday it's another learning curve for him, because Warwick can be a quite daunting track. It's a tricky track. There's five fences down the back straight that come up with you very, very quickly. So, he's going to have to be thinking about things. But, part of my job and working for Simon and Isaac, and my relationship with Simon and Isaac is, number one is to get the longevity out of these horses, but number two is, for them to do things the right way. We like the horses to be treated the right way and do things the right way. So sometimes I get beaten on a horse, and everyone Twitter and all that might be going mad and done this and I've done that and I haven't done this. I should go back to riding school. But generally, there's a reason for what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to achieve, because, like you say, these horses, we want them to have longevity. We want them to do things the right way and to go about things the right way. And sometimes that sacrifices a win to do that. But if you keep persevering, hopefully in the end of the day, you'll get the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's it. And like you say, I mean, I think obviously that's kind of the dark side of the sport sometimes, when there's a lot of people pocket talking on online and things like that. But I think, like you say, the best thing is just to ignore. And we're all about the welfare of the horses, and that comes first, no matter what, really. And like you say, the wins come second. So that's fantastic. So fingers crossed for the ride on Wednesday. The last one then I was going to mention was a horse. I mean, there's a horse I really like. He obviously went over to Ireland for a few rides. A horse called Stella Story won, and you managed to come second on a horse called Largy Hill, and I thought that was quite an eye-catching run. He was staying on really well. I mean, what were your thoughts on that ride and that horse going forward? Do you think we should be keeping an eye on that one?
I think so. Yeah, he's definitely a dark horse. He's a fine, strong horse. Jumped really nicely around there. I thought that was a very, very good maiden hurdle. Obviously Gordon's horses is very, very smart. Is very, very good, and there's some. He's going to be very, very difficult to beat throughout the season. But my horse, I went through the race nicely. We didn't go overly quick, but I just wanted my horse to settle and do the job properly and get into a nice rhythm, which he found very, very quickly. And I came into the home straight, and the horses got racing at the top of 2 out, and I just needed to run a little bit, so I sat against my horse. And but what I really liked him is he got a second win. He came down, he got to the bottom of the hurdle, whereas usually 2 out, but that was obviously taken out on the weekend. And whenever he met the rising ground, he really came home really nicely underneath me. And you know, I definitely know there's a lot more to come from him, and I think he's going to be an improving horse as the year goes along.
Fantastic, love it. I'll certainly be keeping an eye out for him. I suppose the last little bit then is I don't know if you've managed to have a little think of maybe one or two horses that you've got coming up for rides, or any that you may be working close with at the yards and things that you maybe think we should be keeping an eye on, ready for their coming out.
Lovely horse there that I ride a Haydock on Saturday. Is a horse called Carnfonic. It's his first run this year. Um, I think he'll improve from the run, but whenever he goes over fences, I think we're going to see the best of him. But I'm hoping on Saturday, he goes for the big handicap up at Haydock, and I'm hoping that he'll have a nice chance in that. I think the ground will be fine for him. But like you say, I think he's a horse that really, hopefully he can improve quite a lot whenever he goes over fences. So I'm looking forward to getting him out on Saturday and see how he fares on Saturday.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, I've actually got one other horse to talk to you about, if that's all right. Obviously, a little bit of news broke today. And if we can just dive into this a little bit. I mean, obviously, Paul Nicholls has come out today and mentioned that Brave Man's Game's looking like going to the Betfair Chase now, probably the ground dependent, and you're going to be riding. So that's obviously pretty big news and fantastic. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Are you looking forward to it? Are you hoping it dries up enough? Are you ready for it?
Well, geez, if he couldn't get excited about going and riding the best chaser in England, I'm not sure really he should be riding horses really. But look, it's a huge opportunity. It's a horse. It's a race that I absolutely love. Obviously winning 3 Betfair chases on Bristol, and probably unlucky not to win a fourth under
Yep.
different circumstances. Bristol may would have won four Betfair chases, but look, it's a race that I look forward to every year. I'm always up there. I didn't think I'd have a ride in it this year, and like you said, to pick up the ride on Brave Man's Game is, it's hugely exciting. It's schooling there this morning, and he's very powerful but very neat, very compact, very relaxed. He's just a joy to ride really, and I can't wait till Saturday. I'm revved about Saturday, so it's going to be a huge day really.
Can I
Yeah, I
just
mean, that's a one, Joe.
obviously, it says it's heavy there at the moment. Is there sort of a cut-off point? I mean, you don't have to say if you don't want to, but is there sort of a cut-off point where you say, yeah, it's too soft, we're not going to run him? Or is it the sort of thing where, no, we'll just run him and see how he does?
No, look at Haydock. Haydock for the last few years, even Harold Curtin, he's been saying that the ground has been soft, but it's never been as soft as what he's been describing it for the last few years. Obviously, it was last year he said it was soft, but it was a lot quicker than that. It's a drying week. There's a bit of wind about up at Haydock. Look, I think it's soft there at the moment, or soft heavy at the moment, but I should think it's probably about soft ground. It's a fresh track. We haven't raced on it this year, so the ground is going to be absolutely perfect. I would imagine if we have a drying week, I think it's probably, if he doesn't run, it'll be probably if we have a monsoon or something like that midweek or towards the end of the week. But look at the weather at the moment, it looks like it's a bit dry, and if it keeps continuing to dry out, we'd be happy, wouldn't we?
Very. I mean,
Fantastic.
I'm there, so I'll be cheering on. What is it?
Canfonic.
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 Braveman's
We're
game.
really good at pronouncing names on this show.
You'll probably see me at the side of the track. Go on, Daryl, go on.
I mean, when it comes to the Betfair Chase, I mean, I've actually had a bet on Protectorate, so I'm going to obviously wish you luck on Saturday, Daryl. But at the same time, pocket talk, we'll see. But obviously, Rich, I'll come
don't
to you.
Don't worry, I get a lot of them pocket talkers.
You're used to that, so I'm probably a nice one to be fair. But I mean, if you do manage to beat him, don't worry, I won't be screaming at you. I'll just be doing it silently at home. So, Rich, I mean, you're obviously a massive Bravesman game fan. Have you got anything you'd like to add before we move on to the next bit?
Yeah, as James likes to remind me that Braveman's game is not going to beat Galloping, but doesn't matter about that. Yeah, for me, what sort of like strengths do you need to win a Betfair Chase? Being the master of the race, pretty much. I mean, if you do win this,
The key to it is a good horse.
I mean, if you
look, it's a great track. It's a great track. It suits. Look, it's a track that it suits some horses down to the ground, and it doesn't suit other horses. Obviously, the track has changed an awful lot over the years. Whenever I first came over, I don't know whether you recall, but the chases were always on the outside track where the flat track is, and they were solid fences back now. Whereas now at the moment we're obviously on the inside track and they're portable fences. So it's a much different track now to come what it was, I don't know, 15 years ago, whatever it was. But it's still on soft ground. It's still a demanding track. But like you say, it's because it's so flat. It suits some horses and it doesn't suit other horses. So Horses for Courses in Bristol just loved it up there. He was always best when it was very, very heavy, flat track, left-handed track. He was always in his element. So and it took a good horse to get by him on his day.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember watching the last one you won, and you could see that the emotion that come after the line when you finished. I mean, if you ever needed an advert for racing, that was sort of thing right there. So I think it's brilliant, and I'm sure Rich will be cheering you on 100% on Saturday.
I will, and when you win, Daryl, you become the joint most victorious jockey, I think, with Ruby Walsh. So
when has he won it? 4? Has he won it 4?
Yeah, he won 4. So
typical Ruby. He's always outdone me.
He's always just sneaking there into the background. Is Ruby.
Well, when you win on Saturday and win the year after, number one. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we won't get too carried away. We'll try to get Saturday over and done with first.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. I mean, to be fair, we want the big clashes, so fingers crossed it does dry up a little bit enough, and we get to see him, and we'll have a good race. Right then, that's it for that sort of segment. Then, so what we're doing now is we're going to put up our next festival selection. So I'll just have a quick run through our current teams. So my current team up to this point is I've obviously got a Rocco on from week 1, which is unfortunately now not going to be running. Hopefully, it gets better soon. I've got Tehupu 6-1 for the Stayers Hurdle. I've got Love Envoy for the Mares Hurdle 12-1, and Envoy Allen for the Ryanair Chase. I'll come to your Joe, your team. You've got Stage Star 16-1 for the Ryanair Chase. Obviously, that's been backed in nice and high. Rocco again, we know about him. Marine National 11-4 for the Arkle Chase, and your captain, my nice little captain badge there for El Fabiolo, 11-10 the Champion Chase, and finally, Rich, you've got Facile Vega 11-2 for the Arkle, Allaho for the Ryanair Chase, and Sir Gerhard for the Stayers. Right then, so we'll come to you first, Rich, this week. You're going to give us your next week 5 pick. We'll go around, and then if we can finish you, Daryl, we'll give a few final notes off you, and then we're good to go. So, Rich, who's your week 5 pick, mate?
So I've kind of delved into the novices finally. We've not seen him yet this year, but there's a lot of talk about him, and he won his bumper very impressively. It's one for JP, who's got loads of firepower, it seems, this season. It's Mirazur West for the Supreme.
Yep. Nice graphic there. Go on, mate.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've not seen him, so I'm only going off what people have said and bumper form. I mean, Daryl might have seen him if he's been to Willie's and probably knows more than I do. But
shaking his head, he's thinking, no chance.
He's thinking, what is this lad doing?
He's thinking, what am I listening to here? It happens every week. Go on, Rich.
Yeah, basically, he won his bumper at Nace, and I think it was Paul on him maybe, but the jockey didn't move, and he just come visually. To my eye anyway, it was quite impressive, and obviously third has come out and won at Nace again over 2 mile, 2 furlong to give the form a bit of a boost. So he looks like he's all about speed. He's got high cruising speed. Looking at his bumper, so like I say, there's not a lot of him out there, but visually, if he can jump, I think he'll be well in for the Supreme. And he's a full brother to Fernie Hollow, another favourite of mine. So yeah,
so that's the reason you're backing him, because he's full brother to Fernie Hollow.
It's one of the reasons. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's hope. It's if he can jump, he'll not be eights for the Supreme in March. So I'm just kind of chancing it. I mean, yeah, that's all.
He's nice. He's a nice looking horse. He is he's a smart horse. I'm taking piss out of you. He is actually he's a really, really nice horse.
He looks good, but he can't jump, but he looks very
nice. Yeah, he looks a nice horse anyway. A lovely ears. Lovely set of ears on. Go back to that picture that you had on. Just shows his ears. He's got a lovely set of ears.
Those ears there, beautiful.
There he is.
Rich the prick listening to you.
Jumps like a bag of spanners, apparently.
He looks good. He looks good. I'll stick him on my wall. That's all. I don't have to win a race.
There'll be a picture of him in by the end of the season. Don't worry about that.
He won a bumper once, but you know.
Fantastic. Right. Well, I'll come over to you then, Joe. Then I'll go. Then we'll go to Al. But I'll let you go for your week 5 pick, mate. Who you had in this week?
Yeah, I know. So obviously, I said last week I didn't want to dive into the novices, but this week I have. I've caved in. I've gone for the Gordon Elliott Brighter Days Ahead.
Lovely looking horse there, look.
Yeah, I mean he's lovely. One thing I do think, looking at the Supreme and stuff like that, Facile Vega didn't come out till I believe early December last year, so I just want to stay away from them. But Brighter Days Ahead was 5 seconds quicker than Irish Point. Now I know he's, for me anyway, I love the form. You know, he's got form ties with Marine Nationale. He's running good races, graded races. He's a half sister to Mighty Potter, and the one for me really was he's still got a lot of improvement to go, but he looked to learn a lot from the first day. I know he took a drift on the day, and I didn't back him. I didn't have any money on the race. I just wanted to watch it, and I thought it was really impressive. Now he won on the flat, like the national flat, over 2 mile on yielding, and he's won on soft as well, and he's won over 2 mile one. So I think he's got the speed. And he's got the stamina, half sister Mighty Potter. I really do like this one. I think he will short. I think it's one of Gordon Elliott's good ones, to be honest. Like I say, as long as his jumping does improve, which it did from first start to second, I have no qualms with this one. I don't think it'll be 5-1.
If it's he can't run in the race. So,
I'm sure she won't be.
Sorry.
Every time we're talking about mares, there, honestly, it's he. It does it all the time.
Yeah.
I like this bit because we obviously have a couple of guests on, and I always ask them what they think of the selection, and they always, normally 9 times out of 10, tell us whatever we've just said is complete rubbish. So, what are your thoughts on Brighter Days Ahead?
No, I'm not going to disagree in any of them 2 picks actually, because, like you say, whether they're good enough to be winning at Cheltenham or not. There's a lot of horses to come out still. There's a lot of horses to come out still. And I think they're obviously JP's horse is going to have to, number one, jump a hurdle in public, but he's, the form of that is very, very good. And Brighter Days Ahead got out early, is impressive. But again, there's still a lot of good horses. Very, very difficult. I mean, you're picking horses there, novices that are coming out, and there's probably another 50 novices in Ireland that are still in their boxes that they haven't even surfaced yet. So to pick a novice at this time of the year is, it's brave. It's brave.
Yeah, I think we kind of spoke about this last week, didn't we, lads? We kind of said though, because we've kind of stayed away from. I mean, obviously we put a Rocco in, but that's mainly because we were so infatuated by him and been to the and stuff. But we were trying our best to stay away from the novices and stick to the main races as most as we could, and we're kind of running out of ideas. But like you say, it's quite tough picking novices this far out. You're kind of going off not barely much, and especially when you're picking one like Rich that's not run yet. I mean, brighter days ahead. She's looked pretty decent, and she's had a few runs already. I mean, what do you think? I mean, she's had 2 or 3 runs already, hasn't she? What do you think to that? Is she having quite a lot quite soon, or is that not bad?
Oh, no. What you think about it is like with Gordon and stuff like that, because Willie doesn't Willie's only really getting the bandwagon coming out now, and a lot of Willie's horses are they're needing to run, so you see a lot of them, like even Pascal Vega the other day, and even Factifile, horse that I've actually picked out. I know I've just said to you I'm staying away from novices, but I have actually got no idea what race Factifile is going to go for, and he probably mightn't even go to Cheltenham, but I'm sort of the old anti-post for Cheltenham and stuff like that. I'm a little bit nervous at this time of the year because, like I say, there's so many horses, and especially in the whole novice division. I promise you, like Willie's probably got another 35 horses to come out. Gordon's got the same, so it's very, very difficult, and it's a very, very brave statement by you guys to trying to pick novices, at this time of the year. Whereas I picked Factifile, and the reason mightn't even go to Cheltenham, but I'm just going to give him up as a horse that mightn't go to Cheltenham, but he's a horse that you really want to be following for the rest of the year. I thought he was good. I thought he got into a lovely rhythm with Mark. I think he's a 7-year-old after Christmas, I think, and he's come out from bumpers. He was placed behind Gleason's really good horse, wasn't it? John Kiley's really good bumper horse.
A dream to share.
A dream to share.
Dream to share twice, and this horse is a big chasing type, and I can see why Willie's going straight over, straight chasing one without even jumping a hurdle in public. So again, it's another bold shout by Willie. But what I liked about him the other day is I thought he got into a nice rhythm with Mark. I thought Mark rode him very, very confidently. That he always had a good horse, and just watching Mark's body language the whole way up the home straight. Mark was thinking, confidence is everything, that he wanted the horse to have a nice time and a nice education, because I always say horses their first runs over hurdles or their first run over fences is the most important races of their career, because if they have a bad experience on their first run over hurdles or over fences, it can knock them back for not only the season, but it could knock them back for their life. They mightn't be able to get their confidence again. So I thought what Mark done with the other day, and again with Paul when he rode Fast Alvega, they got him into a nice rhythm. The horses enjoyed it. In fact, the more he done, the better he looked and the better he felt. And the way Mark rode him coming up the home straight, I thought it was a very, very nice and really, really good introductory for a horse that never jumped a hurdle in public and gone straight over fences. So I think he's a horse for sure that, like, he's really, really a horse that you got to keep on the right side of this year. I think he could have not only as a novice season, but he could also have a stellar career in front of him. So I'm not going to go for a Cheltenham tip. I'm sorry, I'm going to be boring there, but he might end up at Cheltenham. Don't get me wrong, he might end up there.
Yeah.
But he's a wonderful horse. He's a huge horse with a big engine to look forward to.
That's fantastic. I think, like what you just said there, what I picked up on, you said a bit of a key point, and I think us as sort of racing fans, we can get a little bit caught up sometimes about when you get these horses coming out and they're going first time over fences, and we're always a bit like, we want to see him be unbeaten all the way and things like that. And when horses like a Factifile gets beaten, you see so many people kind of just say, oh, well, that's it now, I'm done with him, he's not going to go win anything at Cheltenham, blah, blah, blah. When actually, jockeys and connections, all they're worried about is getting that education into the horse, and that's their main thing. They're probably not even that bothered, are they, would you say, about winning, are they? They're more there for the education of the horse.
But sometimes when you're going around for, a $3,000 race, is it really worth it? If you've got a good horse and you want to, there's always a plan further down along the line. And if it doesn't look it great, if you go first time out and he takes it and he jumps great and he wins, absolutely fantastic. The dream is alive. But sometimes I actually find I'd rather horses to go out and actually finish second or third. Jet Wall was a typical example. Last year he went out to Utoxeter and he was a short price move and everyone expected to win. But I actually, he went out there. I didn't win the race, but what he done that day, he gained and he grown in confidence. And, he went on and having a stellar career. And Top Notch is another wonderful horse of mine that, he got beaten first time out over fences and he ended up winning a Grade 1 halfway through the season. But if I had went out there with the mind that, win at all cost on him, He could have ended up rolling on the back of a fence, and all of a sudden I might have lost him for the year. So, you have to, as a jockey, it's, and part of your jockeyship, you have to, these horses, you have to, they have to give you the confidence, and you have to feel the confidence of the horses that they're going to take you, and they're going to, they're really, like, don't get me wrong, some horses go down there, they've been, they go around there, they ping around there, and you think they'd be jumps all their life. They're just naturally, they just take to it very, very easily and very, very quickly. But other horses, they don't. It takes them a little bit of time to find the rhythm, to get the confidence, and once you find the confidence and they feel confident in themselves, that's when they'll start to blossom, and that's when you start to get the results at the end of the day.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. What more to say on that? So, Factor Foul then is a horse to follow for this season. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on him. 100%. Right then, I'll finish us off then with my selection, and we're going in to guess. You guessed it. We're off into the novices ranks, but I am actually going in the same race as Joe. I thought to myself, I've got to leave the Supreme, the Ballamore, then Albert Bartley. To me, I can't be going anywhere near them just yet. Like you guys have said, it is a bit of a minefield. But I thought I'm going to take a punt on a mare who I kind of just really like, and I just want to get behind her, and hopefully she goes well and gets there and has a good crack. But I am going to go for my week 5 pick. I'm going to go for Dicer Enos. You can come and get around 7-1, so I think she's a good price.
Lovely looking horse.
She's a gorgeous looking horse. She's got beautiful ears on her. Look at them ears there. Look how prick they are. That's beautiful.
It's all about the ears when you pick these horses.
Kind eyes. She's got lovely kind eyes. That's what you want, a little twinkle in a woman's eye, isn't it?
That's exactly what you need. Exactly.
I've never found that.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, I'm going to go for going back through her form. I mean, she's obviously done really well. She come from points, but she did well in bumpers. She was unbeaten. She did really well at Market Raisin. She obviously been Queen's Gamble. I remember back in the Champion Bumper last year, she was sort of well touted, and Dicer Enos managed to beat her quite convincingly. There were a couple of sort of excuses made for Queen's Gamble, but I thought it was quite impressive. And then she obviously gone to the Aintree, the Grade 2 Bumper at Aintree, and absolutely battered them. And if you go back through that form, I mean, it's quite a hot race, I thought. I mean, I went back through it and I've got it written here, but the 3rd, the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 14th, and 20th place horses have all come out and won since. So obviously the form's pretty strong. And the debut she made over hurdles last week at Huntington, it was 2 mile on good ground, and I was really impressed personally. She's won on good ground, good soft, blah blah. So she ground should be fine, whatever it comes up come March if she makes it there. Obviously, she's not been to Cheltenham before. That might be the only query, but I think she's got the talent to do it. I went back and watched it. She jumped a little bit big sometimes at hurdles. But I thought as terms of first time over hurdles, I thought it was impressive. She was sort of tanking along, and once the jockey sort of gave her a couple of taps after that, she powered away. She looks like she's got bags of pace and a good engine. And I just thought the 2 mile 1 furlong trip of the Mares Novice, I think it'll be right up her street. Brighter days ahead for me. I was a little bit thinking maybe she's more for upping trip later on down the line. It can be, they do go off quite quick, don't they, in the mares, and I don't know if she might get tapped for it, but I just thought I quite like Dicer Enos, so I'm going to stick with her and follow her through the season and hope she goes and does it for the British. Daryl, do you want to tell me that she's got no chance?
I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't see her race at Huntingdon, so I'm not even going to comment on it if I'm being totally honest with you. So I'm thinking that one's just going to go over my head. I'm going to trust you on your judgment on that one.
Well, that'll do me. He knows right, does Jeff. He's not going to go against James. He knows what he's
It's a brave man.
I know my stuff. Trust me. Obviously, Rocco out. Well then,
I can't wait to go on this podcast after Cheltenham, and then we'll see where all your Ante posts. When they all come in.
We'll get you on the review.
I hope you've got it all written down, and just to see wherever you come in, to see how you get on. I can't wait to see that. X.
We had one winner the whole Cheltenham anti-post, and it was Daryl Jacob, Factor File. 1 week appearance, 1 winner.
That's pretty much what it's probably going to be. 9 times out of 10, that's what always happens. But like I say, we have to
pick Constitution Hill next week now, aren't we?
Well, I think we've had 3 jockeys on now, and a couple of other special guests, and I think we've got a laugh every week out of at least one of our picks now, haven't we? This is a running thing.
Obviously, they're thinking, what am I listening to here? But luckily, we'll get one winner between us at some point. But yeah, like I say, we do put our teams together, and we'll have fun watching it throughout the season. Have you guys got any final questions? Maybe let's give Daryl while we've got him, and before we let him go, and then I'll finish with the subscriber challenge.
Joe, do you want to go? Or?
Yeah, no, just say best of luck at the weekend. Best of luck at the weekend. Obviously, I know it's a big race going for the 4-timer. I'll have my fingers crossed. I'll be stood at the side shouting. You might see a big tall lad, Daryl.
If you do see him, Daryl, make sure you say hello.
But yeah, I'm. It's brilliant to get jockeys on to hear the insights. I know we see it on the telly and stuff, and we've got all social medias and we see a lot of Twitter and stuff. But to hear the insight is brilliant.
Yeah, we do appreciate your time, Daryl, for coming on and giving us a little bit of insight. It's just great.
Yeah, thanks. It's pleasure. It's just a great experience to get like a jockey's perspective, because like as racing fans, we don't really get to see any of this stuff. So, have you got like a favourite track you prefer to ride at, or is it Haydock is the apple of your eye, or is there any?
No, I love Haydock this meeting. I've always had a great, not only just the Betfair, but I've won the majority of the bigger races at Haydock. I do love it, Haydock, but I suppose my favourite track that I love riding around is Sandown. I love riding over fences around Sandown to get a horse into a lovely rhythm around there, attacking them railway fences and turning in, and then you got the pond fence, and then you turn for home, and Sandown's a very, very special track. It's great horses have all won around there, and like you say, from a jockey's point of view, especially when you're riding, in the Silly Isles, I managed to win it 5 times, 5 years in a row, I think it was, for Simon and Isaac, and all the top 2 mile race divisions there, the Tingle Creek and stuff like that, and horses going at 35, 36, 37 miles an hour, meeting them, all of them fences down the back straight at speed. The adrenaline buzz, there's no better. It's very, very difficult to describe what runs through your veins. It's just I can't really. If people ask me what word would you describe it, it's a very, very difficult to find one word to describe what it is, but it's something that it'll never ever be replaced. That's just the adrenaline, the buzz, or whatever you want to call it. But it's very, very special. It's a very, very special feeling to being on top of a 500, whatever, half a ton, whatever they, horse that, pure balls of muscle and power, and then you're just going down and you're just meeting them fences, ping, 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 and you're literally, it's like as if you're just gliding through the air.
Can I just ask one? Apart from when you were talking about bone and muscle, I thought you were talking about me. What would you say is the one performance of your career so far where you think, wow, that horse was unbelievable that day? It doesn't have to be your most, your best win, your highest prize money. Just one horse, one race where you think, wow, that was impressive.
Look, I've been very, very lucky. I've won the majority of the big races in England, Ireland, France. Winning on Masterminded around Ascot, his last grade one, I thought that was very, very special to ride a horse of his caliber. I know he's probably coming to the end of his career, but still, the caliber of, the athleticism that he had was extraordinary. A race that I got a real thrill out of was riding Lamy Serge whenever he won the French champion hurdle over there. I knew what I wanted to do, but no one else knew. I had a quick word with Simon, what I was planning on doing, and to drop him out 25 lengths off the leaders and have the confidence in my horse and have the confidence in myself to do what I did that day was extraordinary. And from to finish off the race the way he did was, there's a real sense of satisfaction there. And then just winning on some great races on the likes of Top Notch, one of my favorite horses that have ever been associated with. He was like my little best friend. He wasn't very big, but he had I promise you, there's no horse had a bigger heart that I ever rode than him. I mean, he gave it everything. He shouldn't have jumped a bit. He shouldn't have been able to jump a hurdle. Never mind a fence. Never mind to go on and done what he did do. And when I lost him, that left a big hole in my heart now. I must admit that took a long time to get over. But I've had some great fun days on that horse, and he's a horse that I'll be forever ever grateful of. And like you say, he probably wasn't the best horse that I've ever sat on. But I tell you one thing, it was like he knew. It was like he knew when I needed him most, as in the fact that he always seemed to dig you out of the pits. It was like as if he knew, right, we need a big winner just to keep our head above water, or we might be going through a slightly dull patch, which every professional does do. You kind of have you have some great moments and you have some lower moments, but it was like as if he knew that. And whenever I needed him most, I promise you, he always grabbed the bull by the horns and he always took me there, and he always delivered for me. So, he's a very, very special horse, and a horse that I greatly, greatly miss. But I loved it. I had, like I say, I had some of my best days. Again, they were probably only grade 2, grade 3 chases or hurdles, but and then obviously you got Scoriel, who have won 16 races on my winning most horse. He's been there with me from the start of my journey with Simon and Isaac till probably the end of my journey with them as a jockey. So, I've been very, very lucky. It's very, very difficult to pick out one horse, but a lot of the horses that I've ridden have been very, very special, and I'm very, very grateful for all these horses that give me some amazing days out in the saddle.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's brilliant, Daryl. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like you say, I mean, you say there you've been lucky, but obviously hard work pays off, and there's some fantastic horses that you've mentioned there, and just thank you for sharing that. Really, that was fantastic to listen to. But yeah, right then. So that's it for this week's show. So thank you very much, Daryl, for giving us your time, and thank you to the lads for giving us our next selections.
No problem, Paul.
I'll finish on. We obviously do have the subscriber challenge competition, where if you do put your team selections in the comments, we'll add you to the competition. I said I was going to announce the prize this week. The prize is going to be a bundle from I'll give Hacked Up a mention. We'll put us together a bundle. You're going to get a scar, a woolly hat. I think it is a cup, a mug. I'm absolutely destroying this explanation here. Right? It's a bundle with a mug in it, and what else is there? Rich, tell us what the bundle is.
Get the picture up. Get the picture up. It's a lot easier for people to look at the picture.
I've not done the graphic. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, we like the pictures, don't we?
I will get your team and you can mug.
There we go.
So you sign a signed picture from Daryl Jacob.
Trust me, if the subscribers won't want that.
Go on, Rich, what's the prize? Tell me what the prize is, please.
There's a mug, a coaster, a hat, a racing pin, I believe.
Yes, it's a Constitution Hill racing pin is in there.
A hat,
a pair of socks, and a cuddly toy. We'll just throw something there. Put it this way: it's a good prize if you get your teams into the comments, and we'll add you to the competition. And that's us. And we're going to stop absolutely embarrassing ourselves now in front of Daryl Jacob. But I'll finish on that. Thank you again, Daryl, for giving us your time. We do appreciate it. You've been absolutely fantastic. So thank you for that. And to everyone that's watching, hope you've enjoyed today's show, and like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you all again next time. See you next week. Thank you.
Cheers.
God bless, man. God bless.
Cheers. Thank you.